Welcome guys. So if you're new here, my name is Jamie and I'm a senior software engineer. Today I'm going to be discussing Angular. So let's go over Angular. What is Angular and when do we use it? So Angular is actually a framework. It's a very common framework. It's built by Google. And this framework is actually used, it's very popular in enterprise level companies or companies that have projects that are looking to scale upward and manage them easily, right? So if you're trying to build an admin panel or something like that, you're always going to have new features, new sections, and things like that. So Angular makes this very, very simple for you to actually be able to handle this, right? Versus using a tool like React. React is also great, but it's more of a library versus a full-blown framework that allows you to do many, many things. So that being said, let's jump straight to it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click on this Getting Started here button. And then there's a CLI command reference on the left side. We're going to click on Overview. And the first thing you want to do is you want to run this command, right? So you're going to pop up your terminal here and you are going to type in npm install -g for global @angular /CLI. So what this is going to do is it's going to install the Angular CLI tool. I'm not going to do it because I already have mine installed. However, when you guys finish installing it, the way you would verify it is you would press ng followed by a space, 2 hyphens, and the word version. So what's going to happen is you're going to see an output that looks something like this if you did it correctly. And then this Angular CLI at the time of this recording is at version 12.1.1. So we are going to be working with Angular 12 in this video. It doesn't matter if you guys have a later version or a previous, well, I guess the previous version may matter. But if you have a later version, it does not matter. So that being said, the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are in the folder that you want your project to be in. So in my case, I have a folder set up on my desktop. It's called My Projects. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in ng followed by a space, followed by the word new, followed by another space, and then whatever I want to call my project. So in this example, I'm going to call this the example project. So now what we're going to do is we're going to answer a couple of questions. So it says, would you like to add Angular routing? So we're just going to press yes. And then it's going to ask us what type of style sheet do we want. So generally SCSS is one of the most common used, and so is SAS. So I personally am just going to select SCSS. It does not matter which one you choose to go with, but SCSS is my preference here. Now it's just automatically scaffolding everything. So what this means is it's setting up all of the directory structures, everything, all of the boilerplate code and stuff is just going to get set up for you automatically with this handy dandy Angular CLI tool. So let's just give it a moment while it completes the setup. All right, great. So now that everything is set up and ready to go, what we're going to do is we're going to list the folders in this directory, and we'll notice that we have the example folder here. So we can cd into the example folder, and when we list everything, you'll see all the different files that are set up initially with Angular. So I'm going to open up my IDE at this time. I use WebStorm. You can use whatever you like, but my preference is definitely WebStorm. So I'm going to go to my projects folder, example, open, and we're going to let this spin up here. Okay, great. So now that everything is open, it's still loading up. You're going to notice that you have a source folder and you have a node modules folder. Now, if you use GitHub, as you should, you will have this git ignore file that automatically gets generated. If we open this git ignore file, it has a bunch of directories and stuff that should be ignored, one of them being the node modules, because when you set up your Angular project at first, you do not want your node modules to be committed and pushed up to GitHub. It's very important, and the reason why is because it'll take a lot of space and it'll become a very, very heavy code base. Okay, so now we're going to review the different structures that we have here. So beginning with the app directory, or the source directory, I should say. So inside of the source directory, you're going to have this app folder, an assets folder, an environments folder, an index.html file, and you would have a couple other files which you don't really need to worry about other than the styles.scss. So styles.scss, if you have any global styles, you may want to put them here. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so this index.html file, you'll notice that it has this app root element here. So this app root element is the actual beginning of the Angular project itself. Because the way Angular works, it's all component based. This is the root component. So everything lives inside of this component and it's already structured for you. You can find it in the app directory here. You'll see that there's a app.component.ts, app.html.ts, SCSS. So if you wanted to modify the CSS for this app component, you can do that here. There's an app component.spec.ts. This has to do with testing. So if you want to unit test your component, it's pretty much already laid out for you, and you would need to run the tester and actually test that particular component. Now you'll notice there's an app.module.ts as well. This app.module.ts, what it does is it basically sets up your application module, which is your main module. So here we will review this in a further video, but this is just a basic overview. And then finally you have your app routing module. So whenever you want to set up the router, you would do it here in your app routing module. So this is a quick overview of Angular, the very, very basics, how you set up your project initially. And one last step before we wrap this video up is you would, once you jump into your project here, example, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to say Npm Run Start. And what this is going to do is it's going to spin up I'm just going to press no for analytics here. It's going to spin up a local host server with your Angular project. And that's where your official starting point is for the application. So let's just let it do its thing and spin up the server here. Just give it a moment. All right, great. Now that it already spun up, what you're going to notice is it says HTTP localhost 4200. So if you copy this, if you copy that and you go to your browser and you paste that in there, you will see the application starting page. So let me go back to the browser here. I'm going to paste this in, and immediately you're going to notice Angular, and this is the startup page for Angular. So that's going to conclude our very, very basic overview of Angular and getting started with Angular. In the next couple of videos, I'll be going over Angular more in depth. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you hit me with a like, a follow, a subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, comment below. I'll be doing more videos like this, and hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks for watching, guys.